My name is Natalie Krueger. I play in Sleep Debt out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and with Typesetter based out of Chicago, Illinois. My kind of like main local band, Sleep Debt, just came out with an EP. It's reminiscent of bands such as Orchid and Page 99, Loma Prieta. There's this specific like sort of screamo that never got big, where the alternative press bands got really huge and kind of exploded, and it's like this is a genre that sort of stayed in the underground and is kind of there's this like really cool revival going on, and we just all were like super into these bands like growing up, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna start a band that sounds like Orchid. Anyway, so Typesetter is coming out with a second full-length record called Nothing Blues, and that is coming out on October 26th, followed by a West Coast tour and some other plans that are to be announced. We are going to be on tour with Red City Radio in Kalamazoo. It's starting on November 6th, and for the rest of those dates you can kind of check that out on Typesetter's Facebook page and website. Yeah, very excited for those. I love ZVEX pedals, especially the Box of Rock. I think that is one of the best overdrives on the market, and it has been for a while. I tried out so many different overdrives and just different distortions for the longest time, and I just couldn't find something. It always felt like I would, I'd find something and be like, okay, this is almost it, but it just doesn't have this like higher end juiciness kind of going on. It just kind of feels like the tone gets like cut off and just kind of like becomes a little bassier than I really want it to be. And just I always find that I'm just like, this is not really what I'm wanting, and I feel like I need to I was always like, maybe I just need to find a different guitar with different pickups, something like that. But I'm like, but I really like this guitar, I just kind of need like this sound, and I could never find that. So I bought my first Box of Rock like years ago, I think probably like 10 years ago now, and it was like probably the best investment I have ever made in my entire life. It has a lot more high end, I feel like. You don't really lose any tone as you would with a lot of other overdrive pedals, as opposed to just using amp overdrive. To me it was very reminiscent of like JCM 800s, like those kinds of amp overdrives, which I love those amps quite a bit. And that's kind of that's sort of what I was looking for. And also the boost on it, I think is one of the coolest features on this pedal, where it just kind of, like to me, it's like even if you're not using it as like a traditional boost, like I have it on almost all the time, where I kind of use it as a, kind of it like, makes the tone a little bit brighter on your guitar, and I really like super bright tone. And yeah, so it's my favorite pedal. I think we're being taken more seriously, like people who are generally not men, trans people and women, and non-binary people, and I think that there's still a lot of work to be done though, because you look at a lot of bills from the big shows to the DIY ones, and it's primarily men. And it's something I've always been very vocal about, where it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be, if you're booking a show and the entire lineup is like an all-dude lineup, there's something wrong with how you're doing it. Playing in these basements, you're sort of just a part of the crowd. I mean, there's zero separation, no barrier. When we were even playing in bars, we just had like the drums set up on the stage, and then our like bassist would be kind of like in the middle of the guitarists, and he would always kind of have his back to the audience and sort of fall into them at points and whatnot. It was just like we were like, there wasn't really that separation. Like if people wanted to, they could have probably just like stood right in the middle of everything we were doing, and we would not have cared, because that's just like part of what we do. There's a huge, like, there's energy there, people are excited just to be there and whatnot, and that's kind of what was similar about Riot Fest, and that people were just excited to be there. Like, you know, the vast majority of the crowd at Riot Fest probably had no idea who we were, but we were kind of in this, like, literally like a step above them because we were in this huge stage. There's a barrier. It's not like people could just like get up on stage or anything. And so like the cool part was that I could actually have like space to just move around and do my thing and make sure I stayed comfortable and whatnot. But at the same time, there was kind of a separation there. So it's like, you know, playing stages that big, it's so cool. But then but you kind of still lose something at the same time. Like, you gain something, but you lose something at the same time.